guys, and welcome back to another episode of S.H.E Podcast where we bring the sports hot takes every week. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Dania. This is where women's voices lead the conversation in sports, from breaking news to hot takes and everything in between. We shine the spotlight on athletes making history, breaking down the biggest headlines in sports, and bringing you the hot takes and debates you won't find anywhere else. Sports talk our way.
All right, so we're going to get right into it. Our first segment is something that we like to call She News. Now, She News is where we put women at the center of the conversation, from record-breaking performances to rising stars and everything in between. This segment highlights the biggest headlines and important stories in women's sports, and we honestly just want to give women the spotlight that they deserve. So, for our first She News, we are going to talk about women's NCAA women's volleyball because the level of talent that we're seeing right now and the intensity and star power this season is impossible to ignore. So let's talk about one of the biggest shocks we've seen in women's volleyball. Texas A&M is heading to the Final Four after an absolutely, stunning volleyball world. I mean, this is insane. The Aggies knock off number one overall seed Nebraska in a 5-set thriller. Now, what we talked about last week, I mean, Nebraska was on their way to a Cinderella story.
They were undefeated.
Undefeated. Like, it's crazy. And
Yeah.
with the Aggies coming in and knocking them off, was that ended the Cornhuskers previously undefeated season and crushing their hopes at their 6th national title. Wow. So now in the rankings, we have Texas A&M. They won't be alone in Kansas City. They will be joined by number 1 seeds Kentucky and Pittsburgh, along with the number 3 seed Wisconsin. Now, here's what you need to know about these matchups, okay? So, for number 3 Texas A&M and number 1 Pitt, there's a lot on the line because Pitt they now have a chance to push for history and push for their first national title ever
Oh my
in
God.
franchise history. Um, and this is their fifth Final Four appearances, and the big question is, can they get over the hump? So they've been to the Final Four, but can they pass through the Final Four and get to the national title? Like, that's the thing that we have to see from them. And then you have number 3 Wisconsin and number 1 Kentucky, two programs that know what it takes to win. So the Badgers are looking for their first championship win since 2021, and Kentucky could be chasing their first title since 2020. So, bottom line, there's history, there's pressure, there's a lot at stake in every one of these matches. And I think that with them knowing that,
Mhm.
it's going to be something to watch. So, the national semifinals tip off Thursday, December 18th. And hey, we'll see who hoists the trophy at the end because it's up for grabs and everybody wants it. So, that's going to be amazing to
Yeah,
see.
I was lost for words when I watched the matchup between obviously um, Nebraska and Texas A&M because Nebraska has just been blowing everybody out the water. So to kind of see them now struggle and then lose was just crazy. But that just brings so much joy in sports because you just never know. It can be anybody's day. And not to say that Texas A&M doesn't deserve it. They worked to get where they are. But I don't think anybody had Wisconsin losing.
Yeah.
So that's what makes sports so fun. It's so unpredictable. Obviously, I feel extremely bad for those ladies from Wisconsin from Nebraska because they worked extremely hard. They put themselves on a national scale to be known not just for their volleyball skills, but some of the things they've done off the court as well. So I'm excited to watch, and I hope all y'all tune in.
Yes.
Make sure
Tune
y'all
in
watch.
December 18th. They will
Yes,
be,
yes, yes.
them girls, them ladies will be battling it
The
out.
final foe, the last foe. All right, we are heading into our next segment, which is our breaking news segment. This is going to keep you up to speed on the latest across the sports world, from game-changing trades to injuries to surprise wins and viral moments. If it's shaking up the headlines, we have it covered. So unfortunately, we had a weekend of a lot of unforeseen injuries. Now, before I kind of get into the two main breaking news topics we have here, just kind of want to preface everything by saying that injuries are a part of the sport. Any sport, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's not something you can prevent them. But obviously, there are just going to be little things that happen, little nicks and dinks. It's a part of the sport. So we just keep these athletes lifted in prayers, not just the ones that are injured, but the ones that are out there every single day. So we have the Kansas City Chiefs superstar Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL and LCL, which is a nightmare scenario for the Chiefs and the entire NFL. It was confirmed, obviously, on Sunday after the game that he had tore his ACL, but while they went in to surgically repair his ACL, they noticed some damage to his LCL, which while obviously they were just there, they were like, let's just go ahead and repair that as well. And obviously, if you know about sports, not even just the NFL more specifically, you know about Patrick Mahomes. He is the engine behind the Kansas City Chiefs and has been for years, ever since he has stepped foot as the starter for that team. Arguably, the face of the NFL, some may say, and the standard at quarterback. So obviously, like I said before, he already underwent surgery to repair his ACL, and then, like I said, they saw while repairing it that his LCL needed some repair as well. So that kind of that's going to prolong his recovery just a little bit. They don't think it would be something drastic, but I mean, a typical ACL recovery is about 8 to 9 months, especially now. Excuse me, now with technology and all the different ways that science has evolved. So very, very, very unfortunate news for the Chiefs, and it kind of puts a lot of things into question. Do they go and use next season to, we're not going to say tank, but take their foot off the gas a little bit so they can go into the draft and maybe pick up another top receiver, maybe get some offensive linemen, maybe get a really, really good running back, so that kind of opens the door for those type of things and allowing Patrick Mahomes to fully heal, because I think people argue that him maybe even sitting out next season, he's a competitor, so I think that's going to be really hard to get him to
Yeah.
do. But depending on how his team is around him, you never know. So that could be something to talk about there. But
Yeah, definitely.
keep
And
him in his, yeah.
it also puts like a damper onto like, what can happen next? Like for those Chiefs fans, like they didn't make it to the playoffs, and now it's just like, and our quarterback's hurt. What
And
more?
Travis Kelsey is
And
talking about
Travis
retiring.
is retiring. Yeah.
Like,
What more do we need? Like, I mean, it's just it sucks, and I'm glad that it wasn't a situation where they were either on the fence of making it or they were in the hunt
hmm
of making it into the playoffs, and now their quarterback is out.
yeah,
So it's just like
right. He could heal without pressure or feeling like he let the team down or anything like that. So it's good.
let it heal, take your time. You have
Mhm.
until next season, like you said before. Is it going to be a question of whether or not he can sit out the next season? But I know
Mhm.
for a fact he's not going to do that because they had
Right.
a terrible season this year. Now they're just like, okay, now next year's redemption. Quarterback needs to heal. I don't know what they're going
Yeah.
to do with Travis, but hey, that's just it's a
They
lot
need to
of
head into the draft. You need to find his successor. You should have been found his successor. You should never let a player such as a Travis
get to
or
the end
Patrick
of
Mahomes
the
and
line.
not have a backup. So many teams kind of fall to this issue where they have a quarterback such as a Patrick Mahomes. We'll even take it back to the Steelers when they had Ben Roethlisberger. They never had his successor come in to learn the ropes and learn things without the pressure of him having to come in and perform. Because the next tight end you bring in is going to have huge shoes to fill without feeling like they can take their process the way that they would like. So that's just something. Unfortunately, the injuries over the weekend did not stop there. We had Micah Parsons from the Green Bay Packers. He suffered a non contact knee injury during the second half of Sunday's game when he was in pursuit of the Broncos quarterback, Bo Nix. Parsons took an awkward step on the play, immediately grabbed at his knee, and went down. And then it has been confirmed that he also did tear his ACL, and he was helped to the locker room with his arm around the trainer. So not a great it was a very telling weekend for the NFL. Like, so many teams got booted out of the playoffs immediately. We had a few players that went down due to injury. So just wasn't the best. We had some teams that did have some success that really catapulted their season, but we had some situations like this too. So now the question remains, what does Green Bay's future look like without Michael Parsons on the defensive side? So I still think they're going to make a pretty good run in the playoffs. But without him, I can't confidently say they're a Super Bowl team.
Yeah,
And you might say, like, he's not the quarterback, like, he's not, but I'm like,
but
he's the
that's
sound and the beat of
like
that defense.
yeah.
So,
I mean, and it just shows like you said, it's telling of what this NFL season has been. It's been very, very aggressive. It's been fast paced. Like a lot of these teams have really, really pushed themselves to the limit just to
Mhm.
get to the postseason, just to
Yeah.
get to these final 4 games or these final 3 games. And
Hmm.
it's like, wow, you're really just seeing how much they've put wear and tear on their bodies
Hmm.
just to get here. But that's the thing that this season and this NFL season has really been up for grabs. Like anybody could do
Yeah,
anything.
it's anybody's game.
They've been
It's
playing
anybody's game.
all like they've been hooping.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
So,
just like yeah, and it's so sad because like you said,
mhm.
like all these injuries are happening
Yeah.
and like you said,
And
for
I don't,
today, you're
yeah,
willing
I
to go to
don't,
the playoffs.
and I think a lot of it is kind of skewing to some people because some people are like, dang, this, what is going on? We need to investigate, blah, blah. No. If you
It's
look at the stats, this has been one of the lower years for injuries there has been.
mhm,
Like, I believe right now they're at 30, and at this time last year, they were at 38. It's just this year we had so many big names go down, which is kind of been the issue, obviously, with now Patrick Mahomes, Micah Parsons, we had Nick Bosa that went down earlier in the season as well. We had Malik Neighbors. So it's just a lot of Jaden Daniels. We just had a lot of big names kind of suffer some really bad injuries. Tyreek Hill is another one. So it just seems like, oh my gosh, what's going on? But it's unfortunately the nature of the sport. And that's not making excuses, but I'm just giving people perspective. Like,
yeah.
it's okay, y'all.
It
Calm down.
happens.
It
It happens.
happens.
It just sucks, but it happens.
Yeah, it sucks.
Ugh,
But yeah, we wish both Patrick Mahomes and Micah Parsons and anybody else that suffered an injury this year speedy recovery. They're in the best hands. I'm confident with that. So
yeah,
we
for
should
sure.
hopefully see them back next season for sure.
All right, well, we're going to jump into our next spicy segment, and this is something that we like to call hot takes. Now, this is where the conversation gets hot and heated from bold predictions to debates that might ruffle a few feathers. But listen, nothing on She Podcast is off limits. Denise, you want to go first with your hot take?
Sure, why not? Mine is kind of foreshadowing a little bit into a segment that we have coming later. So I'm not going to dive too deep into it. I'm going to just drop it. But Joe Burrow will not finish his career in Cincinnati. Like I said, I'm not going to go too deep into it because it's going to foreshadowed a little bit of what we're going to talk about later. But I think the writing's on the wall there, y'all, and I think we gotta have to wake up and smell the roses.
Give us a little, just give us a little, just a
A
little.
little teaser.
little
Well, I just think that this also might be a hot take. He's bigger than Cincinnati, and I
mm-hmm.
think they have stunted his growth a lot as a player, as an athlete, as a person. Cincinnati's not known to be the best when it comes to making sure that their athletes are taken care of. And we're not even just talking financially, but making sure they're set up for success to get them to, for in his case, the Super Bowl, which he's been to. But that's just, ever since then, they have, I don't think they've made it to the playoffs since then. Could be wrong. Bear with me. But they've had a rough showing ever since then, and they have not been able to rebuild for whatever reason because that. And I think there's some frustration brewing in that locker room because of that. Because they have they're very hot and cold, and no, that's not a Super Bowl winning team. You can't have a all star offense, but your defense can't stop a parked car.
Mm.
Like that's just not that you don't win like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna leave that there. We're gonna
Okay,
dive into that a little more.
we're gonna dive into that a little bit more. Okay. My hot take is I think that the University of Michigan should just clean house again. Okay.
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom. I mean, they've literally been in a scandal. Like the school has been in a scandal for the past like they've always been in a scandal. Like it never
Across multiple sports. Oh my gosh, now that you say that.
yeah, they just need to clean house. And I didn't say just football. I said the University of Michigan has
But once
been
you said that, I was like, wait, she's right. Like it hasn't just been football.
yeah.
There have been some scandals on the basketball side of things as well too. Or just
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say scandals, we're just gonna say issues. So ooh.
So, it's just they just need to do a reevaluation of what's going on within their administration and figuring out like Why is this happening? Like what's going on? Like for crying out loud, like come on now.
They need the background check need to be a little bit deeper.
Like, a psych evaluation.
Mm,
Please, a psych evaluation because
okay, you're onto
like,
something.
yeah, we gotta we gotta pick this up. We gotta pick this up. It's been enough of like the drama. It's been enough of the scandals. Like they took home a national title in 2023, but has that really mattered? Has that really mattered? Because of everything that
No,
has like everything that has happened overshadows the good stuff. Like,
but I think though, like it matters in the sense that the reason why some things went on is because they won that national championship. You
mhm,
know why
mhm.
they got so much leeway. Like people tolerate anything when you're winning. They tolerate anything when you're winning, and that's any sport. People will put up with. If tolerance is here, productivity got to be here. Once those two align, we cool.
You're
But they
good.
had an issue recently. Productivity went down here. Tolerance can't stay here. We going,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, so yeah, we're gonna leave that there. Mhm. All right, we're
Mhm.
heading into predictions now, where we are going to look ahead and put our takes to the test. From over and under stats and breakout players to MVP races, Super Bowl picks, and championship forecasts. We break down the numbers, the trends, and gut instincts to see who's winning, who's surprising, and who's coming up next. All right, this week we are going to predict who's in, who's out for the playoffs, and maybe
Ooh.
give a little teaser on who we think was going to be in the Super Bowl as well. Now, we're obviously going to take a lot of things into consideration. Obviously, injuries, obviously, coaching changes, different things like that. Obviously, over the last weekend, we had a few teams been completely eliminated from the playoffs. Obviously, that being, correct me if I'm wrong, the Bengals have been eliminated, the Chiefs have been eliminated, and the Cowboys, I believe, have also been eliminated from the playoffs. I think the Cowboys have like a 1% chance. My bad. I'll give them their little
I was
1%.
like, we ain't out just
Yeah,
yet, but
they
okay.
the sky will have to fall.
Hey, what Chicken Little
One
say?
chance. One chance is faith of a mustard seed. I ain't knocking it. I am not knocking it, babe. Go for it. But and then we have other teams like the Browns previously got eliminated, and then the Titans and so on and so forth. So yeah, we have right now. You will see graphic right there on the screen. The teams that are confidently in the playoffs from the NFC and the AFC. Then you have some teams that are creeping that are currently in the hunt at the bottom. So out of these five teams that seem
Mhm.
to be able to that could creep into the playoffs, I believe maybe only two could get in, maybe just one.
Mhm.
What do you think?
I think I think the Ravens are going to creep in.
Think
And
so?
I say that because Daniel Jones just went out for the Colts and they have a 67-year-old. They just got that old man on
Okay.
the couch. I mean, but let me say something about this. He did not do a bad game. Philip Rivers, am I saying that name right? I butchered it. Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute. I know. Mr. Rivers did a great job last on his first game playing with the Colts. I mean, they pulled him off the couch last Sunday or the Sunday before last, told him, "Hey, we need you." And he went out there and it was a close game. I think the ending score was what, 15-16.
Yeah, they lost by a field goal. I remember
Yeah,
that.
something like that. But it was great. He had like over
They had a good game, a solid game.
it was a solid game. Like he went out there and showed, "Hey, I can still do this." However, do
It
I
was
think he
16
has
to 18,
16 to 18
and he was 18 of 27, 120 yards, a touchdown, a sack, and an interception.
and
Not
interceptions?
bad
And
for a
that's
40
okay
plus year
for
old.
your first game back in how many
Right.
years? And
Five.
I'm 5 years. And do I think that they have enough to go or to take that final spot in the playoffs? No. As far as a Lamar, I think that they have a better chance. So I have the Ravens creeping up and going into the playoffs for the A.
The AFC.
Mhm.
That's
You gonna do
tough.
the NFC too, or are you gonna do it?
No, I'm gonna do AFC. Would it be one of each or one of each? Right? It'll be an AFC team and an NFC, or just right? Sure. For sake of argument, we're just gonna say AFC and NFC.
Hmm.
Oh, that's so tough because they both have really tough schedules coming up.
Next year.
Like the Indianapolis Colts, their next game is against the 49ers, although it's home. But then they got to turn around and play the Jaguars.
Yeah.
And then they got to
Yep.
play the Jaguars again. Oh, I'm sorry. They play the Jaguars this weekend in Jacksonville. They're cooking with gas right now.
Yeah.
The 49ers, they play them at home, and then they go back. No, Jacksonville comes to them for their last game there. So that's a bit of a gauntlet of a schedule. And then on Baltimore side, they have the Patriots. They got the Patriots, the Packers, and the Steelers. Three
Oh.
teams that can mop the floor with them, if I'm being honest. But three teams that if they go and compete and win, they
Hmm.
should get into the playoffs because it's
Right.
like you just beat two teams that they think could go to the Super Bowl. But the
I
Ravens
have
are just
more
so
faith in the Ravens.
inconsistent. Like I want to say the Ravens, especially that they held Cincinnati to no points with you
Hmm.
got their offense. Cincinnati's offense is firing on all cylinders with Joe Burrow. You got T. Higgins, who did not play, so I'll give them that, and Jamar Chase, obviously. So they just went there and held them to zero. So it's like they're inconsistent. But then you go to Pittsburgh and lose by little less than a touchdown. So I'm like, the inconsistency is killing me with them because you see them on paper and you're like, this is a Super Bowl caliber roster. Like, yeah, tight ends killing it. We already know who Lamar Jackson is. We know who Derrick Henry is. We know who Zay Flowers is. We know what that offense looks like. And the defense came back finally healthy with Marlon Humphrey,
Yeah.
Kyle Hamilton. You got Roquan Smith. You got Nate Wiggins. They're on
They're
paper they should be way better. Now we understand they had injuries and stuff like that, but the inconsistency.
hmm
I say all of that to say I might have to go with the Colts. I want the Ravens in so bad, but I
faith
might
in
have to go
Philip.
with the Colts.
Okay.
Like they
And
will get in and they're gonna get in and lose. Like they'll
yeah.
get into the playoffs and probably lose.
Hmm.
But I'm gonna go to the NFC. Sorry, Taylor, I don't y'all ain't making the playoffs. Cowboys, no. It's not happening for y'all. I'm sorry. The ceiling would have to fall out for everybody in the NFC. Like literally the Eagles would have to lose, if I'm not mistaken, the rest of their games. Um, who else is in that? Y'all will need Green Bay to lose the rest of their games, which is possible because if they come to the Ravens and lose, that helps y'all a little bit. And then y'all will also need LA's already clinched, so yeah, got a
Hmm.
little bit going. And then there's the Panthers are in front of y'all and
Lions are in
Detroit.
fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, there's always hope. I'm always gonna keep
Faith
hope
of a
alive.
mustard
If
seed.
I'm gonna be, but if
Faith
I'm
of a
gonna
mustard seed.
be, like I said, bias.
Mhm.
I have my bias hat. My bias hat. I think Dallas is gonna creep up.
You don't think that.
My non-bias. I mean, I'm just hoping. I mean, like you said, with Green Bay, Micah's out. Anything can happen. Anything can happen because they could essentially let a team score on them multiple times. Like, hello, your best defensive and pass rusher is gone. Not to say that Michael was the glue that held their defense together, but he was a significant part. And now that he's gone, hello. Um,
So, sorry, just for context, for you guys to make it,
mhm.
y'all have to win the last three of your games, Chargers, the Commanders, and Giants, which is doable. That's
Doable.
doable. But the Eagles have to lose all three of their games.
Yes.
And they have the Commanders, the Bills, and the Commanders.
Mhm. They can win against the Commanders twice. The Bills,
Right.
that might be a toughie.
Right.
But
Exactly.
I'm not gonna put it past Marcus Mariota. Marcus
Mhm.
Mariota has been doing
He's a
great.
glorified backup for sure.
Yes, he has been doing an amazing job in the absence of Jaden Daniels, which is why, but with the Eagles continuing to have this up and downness in their lackadaisical manner, they can't do that because they know what's on the line. But if they keep going, hey,
Hmm.
by all
But
means,
if now if they win one, they unfortunately for
then
y'all though, they just have to win one
yeah,
and they clinch. So there's that. Now I think the Lions will probably get in when I look at it.
I
Like out of
have
all
the
five of these teams,
yeah.
yeah, that are creeping, the Lions, the Ravens, the Colts, the Panthers, and you guys. Um, the Lions seem like the best has the best opportunity to get in. But if you were to ask me who would get in and have a bigger run, I would say the Ravens. Because there's not a team that's in the playoffs right now that scare me for the Ravens. Like all of these teams, I think they could beat. Like genuinely
Mhm. That I have,
healthy,
yeah,
but I don't
healthy
think.
and
Yeah.
locked in. They need to be healthy and locked in because these past games that they haven't been locked in, I don't know what's going on.
Mm,
But they just won their last game, so that was good.
yes.
So if they just keep going and keep building on that momentum from that last game, I
Hmm.
think that they will have a great run in the playoffs. And
If
unfortunately, the Cowboys
if
will be
they
out,
get in, yes,
which I don't
they
think.
would have to. That's it.
Hmm.
So my vote will be the Lions out of all five.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah.
it makes me sad because
I agree. It's like I
yeah.
have like 50-50 on the Eagles and 50-50 on the Ravens and 50-50 on the Lions. I think
Mm,
those teams that will potentially make it in. Like that's
yeah.
those potentials.
And I think if either one of those two were to get in, if not both, which I don't think is possible, um, I think they would have a pretty solid run.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, none of these teams scare me. Like I'm not like, oh my gosh, they can't beat. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a team that I'm like, oof. The Broncos, yes, obviously, but that's just what it is.
But
So
that's what we've been saying like the whole season. That
up
everything's
in there,
up for grabs. Like these
anybody's
games,
getting
anybody's game. Anybody could win. So it's yeah, not scaring me at
crazy,
all.
crazy. It's exciting though. It's exciting.
Very exciting. All right, so we're going to jump into our next segment, and this is something that we like to call She Said What? Okay. Now, sports isn't just about the score,
Mm.
it's about the drama behind it. Now, we're talking messy trades to shocking callouts that will have the fans saying, She said what? Yeah, okay. So on Wednesday, the Cincinnati Bengals quarterback revealed that he didn't view playing football as fun as he did before his toe injury on week 2 of this season that sidelined him for 9 games. Now, when he was asked to expound upon that topic on Wednesday, Burrow said that the priority of him moving forward is if he wants to keep doing this and he wants to keep playing, he has to have fun with it. And he also added that his desire to win remains unchanged. I've been through a
Mm.
lot, and if it's not fun, then what am I doing it for? So that's the mindset I'm trying to bring to the table. Do we see the future of Joe Burrow not being in Cincinnati? Hmm.
Yeah, I kind of foreshadowed this, but
Yeah, I was going to
I don't
say, you already spoke on it.
yeah, I don't see it. I don't think Cincinnati's equipped to keep him, and it's hard because it's like you think about last year when he was at the Super Bowl and he kind of demanded that the Bengals pay T. Higgins, which they did, to pay Jamar Chase, which they did, Trey Hendrickson, which they did. They honored all of the things he asked. But as a quarterback, I applaud him for looking out for his guys as he should. But you also got to look out for yourself. Like
Right.
those three did deserve to get paid, but you needed some protection, Joe. You
Hmm.
haven't. You can count on one hand how many healthy seasons you've played in the NFL, like fully healthy. And a lot of that is due to your offensive line not being able to withstand. So you're not the most mobile quarterback there is, but you're a really, really good quarterback. One of my favorites, if I do
Hmm.
say so myself. But I think with that being said, I don't know, he kind of retraced his steps later on down the week about what he said, but I think the damage is already done. And I think a lot of people within the organization is feeling the pressure. Do we have to worry about re-signing Joe Burrow? Is he willing to? Is he going to ask for a trade? What's in his contract that we can kind of negotiate, where we restructure some things to go and get some linemen? Are there linemen out there going to get? Cincinnati is not known to be the most splurging franchise. If anything, they're the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Pretty frugal, if I do say so myself. They were one of the teams that were joked on about their practice facility looking like it was in the middle of a parking lot under a what do you call those things? A bridge.
A bridge. Hmm.
Like I can stand up top there with my binoculars and see everything that y'all got going on. I know what plays y'all running. I know who's running the play. I know like
Yeah.
they haven't put a lot of. I don't want to make it just about a money thing, but we'll just use money for the sake of argument into the franchise. You know, they've tried to do everything on the cheap, and it's shown. The injuries have shown, the lack of championships have shown, the lack of retention in their players have shown, and now you have one of the best things that has ever came through Cincinnati. Arguably, there's some others. You know, we got the Chad Ochocinco's and stuff like that, but
Hmm.
a quarterback that could arguably go into the Hall of Fame, and y'all about to just let him go to the wayside. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like these are conversations that should have been had last year and the year before when he was hurt. And that's not to say that his injury that time was due to his linemen, but this is an issue I had with the Commanders. When you have a quarterback such as a Joe Burrow, or Jaden Daniels, or Lamar Jackson, you do everything in your power to protect them. You could
Yeah.
find wide receivers, you could find tight ends, you could find running backs. Dime a dozen. They might not be the Jamar Chases and the T Higgins, but a quarterback like Joe Burrow, you could find that.
Yeah. Right.
Linemen,
Hmm.
hard to find.
And
Hard to find.
and
You
that's the
know?
sad thing about it. And that's the sad thing about it because when a player or anybody or like an athlete just stops feeling like they're not having fun in their profession anymore,
Hmm.
it becomes to be more of like a job than something that you are passionate for, and that's the sad part. Like you said, seeing a Joe Burrow and how he's arguably one of the best quarterbacks that we've seen so far, and a Hall of Famer himself, it's just like it's sad to see, and I hope that for him speaking, that he gets traded to another team and that he finds that love and that passion for the game again
So you
because
think he should be traded or request a trade?
I think he should request because I don't want to see him, and he's fairly young. He's fairly
He's
young.
in his prime. Like this
Yeah,
is
so you can't sit
the
up
prime.
here and say, "Oh, he's too old," or "Now he's old." No, he's like you said, in his prime. There's still more that we need to see out of Joe. It's just the Cincinnati just not using him well or
Okay.
doing him justice.
Fair. Fair
Yeah,
take. Now
yeah.
I'm gonna pick your brain. I'm gonna make you work a little harder right now. If he were to get traded,
Where should he
where
go?
does he go? I have a few places in mind, but I want to see what you say.
Okay,
Tough
we're
one.
looking
Tough
at
one.
all the teams who may need a solid QB.
Solid QB. He a little more than solid. He a little more than solid. But I get what
I
you're
don't
saying.
know why this one team just keeps popping up in my head.
Who?
The Raiders.
They need Jesus, not just a
They need
quarterback.
Jesus. But you know what we always say that it takes that one quarterback.
One
It took
move.
Aiden
Yeah.
Daniels. It took
But
um
no, the Commanders were only a quarterback away. They had all
yeah,
the
they were
pieces.
one
They had
quarterback
the
away.
receivers, the running back. They had it all. They were
I
missing
mean,
a quarterback. The
if we're
Raiders need a little
looking
bit more than a quarterback.
if we're looking at the Raiders, we have Ashton Genty. We have
Okay.
we have just a
His
big
face is
name.
in my
We
head.
got Max Crosby. We have
Max Crosby, thank you.
yeah, Trey Tucker, Tyler Lockett. Like, come on, like we have
Hmm.
some really
Tucker
good
don't blow
people
me
that
away, but I get what you're saying.
you know. But
He,
it's just
I understand.
we have some real. They have some really good pieces that I think they just need a quarterback because Gino is not doing it. Gino is not doing it. The fans are even booing this man in the stands. So it's just I just think that they need.
He would bring a
I,
lot of buzz to Las Vegas. I will say that.
he just
I'm not a
conquered the Raiders. He
yeah.
conquered it.
I'm not opposed to that. I would rather them draft a quarterback and develop him first, which they should have done last year, but we'll leave that alone.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Than take a in their prime Joe Burrow and waste him because the Raiders don't shock me as some franchise that can get it done.
Mm-hmm.
I think three teams stuck out to me.
Okay, who?
Controversial, but it is what it is. The NFL. Get right or get gone. The Falcons,
Okay.
Miami. But that's hard because
They
I don't
get
know who's
rid of
taking to his contract.
They love
The
Tua.
cheap Bengals ain't doing it, but
Mm-hmm. They love them with
they,
Tua.
they need a quarterback, or a better quarterback, I should say. And I know they're on track right now to potentially get another Super Bowl. The Rams. Hear me, 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 hear me. Matthew Stafford's not getting any younger.
Yeah.
And a lot of teams find themselves in situations where they don't have a successor. I also
Mm-hmm.
could say the 49ers as well, because when they're healthy, they
Damn.
always have a chance. Help the
Mm-hmm.
49ers that are healthy always have opportunity. Always. You could never really the half the team is injured and in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
what? So those right now are three teams that I'm like.
And I'm not mad at
The
them.
Vikings,
Mm-hmm.
JJ McCarthy, you showed me something the last game, but with
He is
Joe Burrow with
his.
Justin Jefferson,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ooh.
and that's a line. That is a team full of linemen. They have a solid offensive line. So does the Rams. Two teams with a really, really solid offensive line.
Okay. I'm not
He
mad
would
at that.
he would erupt Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like, oof.
Yeah. Okay. Joe Burrow.
But
Yes. To the Rams.
to the Rams, now I don't know if Matthew Stafford has. I'm assuming hinted. I think if he wins, if they win the Super Bowl this year, he retires
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Oh yeah, he's
Why
37
not?
years old.
Two Super Bowls. He would have been. He potentially could get another Super Bowl MVP.
Mm-hmm.
He's has a really good chance to win the MVP this year. Man, ride on your high horse up out of here, please. Go be a
Yeah.
husband.
And a father.
Uh, and a father. And a father. Alrighty, that is a wrap on today's episode of She Podcast. Do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and leave us a comment below. And also leave us a hot take so that you can maybe hear your hot take on the next episode.
Until next time, stay sporty, stay fierce, and continue to slay the game your way.
Because when she talks,
The game listens.
bye
Bye.
bye.